Hey guys, my name is Bharat. Welcome to another video on Brand Device. In this video, I wanted to give you a portfolio update because that has been pending since a long time. So I'll take you to the screen, show you what's going on, because the size of portfolio really changed from the last time I made a video about this. If I take a look at the Scalable Capital broker, which I've been using since 2021, I think, for sure 2021, or like even earlier, I think 2020 somewhat. I've been using this. So far everything has been running fine. We are sitting at around 685,852 euros, from which 80,000 is cash. Now, why I have put so much cash inside Scalable Capital is because if you go to the main website, you can also see the details for this. If you're a new customer of this Prime Plus broker, you get around 4% interest rate, which is really nice. And 4% is for the first 4 months. After first 4 months, it reduces to 2.6%. So for me, I put some money, I think 20,000 euros or something in the starting, because it simply made sense for me to put this money somewhere where I'm getting interest, because my other bank account is Revolut and so on. And the problem comes with Revolut that you are not really earning any kind of interest rate there. So it doesn't make sense for the money to just like sit there like that. So I put some of that money in Scalable Capital. That's important. The next bank accounts, I think I can also make a video about bank accounts soon, because with the bank accounts, you also have to pick and choose which one are providing you interest rate and in which you shouldn't rather spend too much money or like invest too much money. What do I mean by this? Take a look at Wise. So Wise is not actually a bank, but it gives you interest rates of around like 3.6%, which is really, really nice. So they are also, but in the private accounts, I would not put more than 20,000 euros, because 20,000 euros is essentially insured by the Estonian Investors Fund. But money above 20,000 euros, that's where like things get a little bit funny. If the bank has to go completely bankrupt or something, like I don't know how you're going to get access to that money. This is the reason what I try to do is put them in proper banks. If you take a look at the Bada Bank, now even though it is just a middle account that you're using to invest in Scalable Capital, it is still a proper bank, and it is insured by the 100,000 euros, which the German government provides in case of bankruptcy of different kind of banks and so on. So that's why it makes sense to limit the amounts that you're putting in different kind of bank accounts to 100,000 euros and not above that, and rather like just like divide it amongst different kind of bank accounts, because this limit is for 100,000 euros per customer per bank account. So if you have different bank accounts, so 100,000 euros will keep on adding there, right? In Romanian banks, you also get an interest rate of around 2% to 2.5%, but I just find it a lot more hassle in moving large sums of money there. But the German banks, they don't make too much drama with that, especially the ones which are already behind brokers where you are investing money and so on, because the volume which is flowing there is generally massive. So from the 685,852 euros, close to 209,655 euros is the profit since beginning. So that would put the investment of around like 400,000 euros, not even 400,000 euros, because 80,000 is cash. So around 320,000 euros. So I find it ridiculous that the money almost doubled, because 220,000 euros I put inside, 290,000 is the positive or like the profit on top of it. And that is since 2021. So 3 years it's been, I think 2020, 2021, 2, 3, and now we are running in 4. So 3 years, you divide 100% of money by 3. So it's like a return of 33% per year, which is ridiculous. But again, most of it has come from NVIDIA. If you take a look at iShares, this MSCI World, it was also giving now around 10% off gain, which is not bad at all. So 10% every single year, like that's how your money is growing. Now I will go through the list of the stocks. First one is AMD, profit of around 75%. Alphabet, which is Google, a profit of 9%. Then I have this MSCI World accumulating index, which is 31.97%. NVIDIA 260%. This is absolutely ridiculous. Palantir Technologies 57% plus, and Tesla minus 12.5%. Tesla also had its nice days. Right now, I'm unsure where to invest the money next. Nah? So this is why I'm just keeping the money and I'm using the Sparplan. Because if you see here in the screen, right next to the iShares Core MSCI World, you see this 1,004 euros savings plan ongoing. So I'm just like running that because I don't know what to do now. I don't have the time for this because at the moment I'm rather focusing on the real estate portfolio that we built. Now we bought a house recently, which we took over on 15th January in Denmark. And this has been huge expense because even though 200,000 euros was what we were thinking of that we are going to like pay for the house, but like with all the costs together now, we are at 75,000 euros extra. And I think till the time we're done with the house, it is going to be another 75,000 euros minimum. So the portfolio there stands at 1,740,270 euros. So if I add the one from the stocks inside, around 680,000 euros. So yeah, 2.4 million, right? So this is not bad at all because I'm 29, but I'm also really aware that all of this actually happened because I decided to start my own business. This is the reason I wanted to give you a few more tips on how to handle things if you're thinking about starting things for yourself too. And for this, I made 5 points. Important thing is to like start investing early, because if you don't invest early, you just don't get any kind of like compounding effects. That is extremely important if you want to grow something. People who started investing at the age of 18, 19, even like 14, 15 or something, because you can still open the custodian accounts over your parents and you can start investing then, the compounding effects are insane. And unfortunately, nobody told me about these things, or like we didn't have the right kind of education at that time. Also, they were not this easy access that we have right now to brokers and so on. Previously, you had to go to a physical bank or a trading shop and you have to like, buy or purchase the stocks there. But now this is completely different. So you just have everything on your phone and it is much more easier to be invested in the stock market. So invest early, that's very important. But also if you're somebody who's watching my videos and probably a little bit older, also don't kill yourself over the idea that you did not invest early, because I know many people start getting these like full-on guilty feelings that you did something extremely horrible because you didn't start investing early. What you have to think about is like, what can you do about this? That time has passed anyways. Like we didn't have the right kind of information to be aware about this. Now you have different kind of thoughts, you have different kind of ideas, and you're thinking about this. That is already really nice, because the most important thing is better late than never. Another thing to think about when you're thinking about getting financially stronger is increasing revenue than decreasing expenses, because expenses you can only decrease to the total amount of salary that you earn. So for example, let's say you are earning netto like 2,500 euros. If you're like going into the direction of this FIRE movement where you want to like, retire early and be financially independent, the situation with that comes that, okay, you can reduce your expenses only to a maximum of 2,500 euros. That is when you start living on streets, eat nothing, or like trash bins, whatever, like, if you're going to that direction. But on the other hand, if you think about like increasing revenue, there is no limit to how much you can increase the revenue to. There could be different kind of jobs that you can pick up, different kind of extra contracts that you can pick up. That is something that you can do without any kind of limit whatsoever. Number 3, starting your own business. I think starting your own business always makes sense, because it cannot be that you don't know a single skill which is not valued on the marketplace. Sometimes like businesses are also interesting. Like sometimes you have to like find something, or you have to make something up which you think people are in the need of, but people don't know it yet. So many times what I have seen businesses which work out really well are those, but at the same time, I've also seen businesses where, you have a kebab shop or something. I was speaking to a taxi driver recently and he was like, we were having a kebab shop, like his cousins or something, and they have like now multiple houses, and multiple houses in Germany, multiple houses in Turkey or something. And they were saying like they were making a revenue of around like 20,000 euros per day. So that is not a bad amount of money at all. So 600,000 per month. So that is very decent money, even if you like think about all of the profit margin and so on. So that's interesting. That is something that you could also think about, like either having something traditional, like businesses which are already running, where you don't have to like invent new things, or if you want to have a little bit bigger profit margin or competitive advantage, it always makes sense to like invent something new or like make something new up, right? So very important, but there you should definitely think about this, because if you just keep on making your business plans, but you never like do something about it, never register a business, but never start working towards it, it's a problem. In those kind of areas, if you have any kind of questions, problems whatsoever, you can always call me. My calendar you will find in the description below, so that you can just choose what time and fits you and we can sit down and speak. The next one is tax planning. I think it's very important that after a specific stage, you start thinking where it is going to make more sense for you to run your business, because like I told you previously, in Romania, you're just paying 1% tax on revenue and 8% tax on dividends. So it is not like no tax country, you're still paying taxes. The taxes are, however, lower than what you're paying in most of the other countries. So after 9% taxes, you're having most of the money privately available to yourself. That is something I find extremely important, because even if I talk about my stock portfolio, if I was living in Germany in this stock portfolio, like I would have invested maybe from the 300,000 euros, only 150,000 euros. And that too, if I would have invested, because when you're living in Germany and you're making huge sums of money, the problem comes that you don't understand how much taxes you have to pay. The result of that is that you almost start saving all of the money aside for taxes. And the problem comes from that you are not making business expenses. If you're not making business expenses, you're saving all of the income in taxes for taxes. The situation comes that you end up paying more taxes than if you would have done any kind of business expenses. And private investments like stocks and so on, that anyways become a lot more difficult, because you don't know how much taxes you will pay. So that's the reason why I think like after a specific amount, like in previous videos, I told you about 20,000 euros limit, 10,000 euros limit, and 7,000 euros limit, and so on. Those were in different kind of contexts, but I think like definitely at around 10,000 euros and above, if you're having a business, it makes sense to pivot or like, start a company somewhere else and think about moving your life at least for a few years. Because we also moved to Romania for a few years, and probably like I might end up moving to Denmark in the future, like if not this year, then the year after, because I do think after a specific stage, once you have made enough money, I think it's time to think about other situations of your life, or like other things of life, because we're expecting a baby girl in June in our family. So the family is going to get a little bit bigger. This is also the reason why Alina decided I'm going to move to Denmark, because I feel much better living in Denmark than I feel living in Romania, because unfortunately our experience with Romanians in general has not been that great. And like, even though I'm generalizing this by saying like Romanians, but this has unfortunately been my experience, and this is my experience for over like 3.5 years of like having to do with different kind of people, meeting different kind of people, and so on. But like every single time you think like, hey, like you finally met somebody decent, it just like the ugly side shows up really quickly. But in Denmark, I find it absolutely insane how nice the people are. So like I could completely understand like where she's coming from. For example, now, we registered our car, which was the Vauxhall Caddy in Denmark, and for this, they gave us the number plates. Remember that in Denmark, cars are considered a luxury. So when you're importing a car, for example, we did from Romania, you have to pay a luxury tax. The car costed to us in 2020 or in I think 2019 around 10,980 euros. Now, to import the car in Denmark, we paid almost 100% of the tax again, which was 8,800 euros we paid in taxes in Denmark. Which is ridiculous, because the car is from 2013. It is not in the best conditions. I rent the car against a pole in a parking house and stuff, so it has a dent from that, a scratch from there, and so on. But like they don't care about the condition, they just see the market value of that. So we got the Danish number plates. I was not so happy about this, because I was of the opinion that rather we buy a cheaper car here in Denmark for 3, 4, 5,000 euros, but we don't want to register like this car here, because then we'll be paying almost twice the money again. But my wife wanted a caddy, so we got a caddy. Got the Danish number plates, and then afterwards I go inside a workshop, because these number plates do not fit on the German number plate, this box that you have, the plastic fitting, right? So I try to open it, try to fit the Danish number plates. They are not fitting at all. So now I go to the first workshop, they don't have it. We go to the second workshop. I go to the second workshop and I was like, yeah, I have these Danish number plates and they are not fitting in the plastic fitting that I have. I speak in German. That's the very nice thing about Denmark, that you can almost always get by speaking German, especially in the border region. So up to like Abra, even like, further, like Danes generally speak German also really, really well. And English anyway. So like for younger generation, like English works really nicely. For older generation, German, they speak really well. So spoke in German, die Kennzeichen passen überhaupt nicht. And then he was like, okay, like, du darfst das nicht verkürzen. So like you cannot like, make it shorter, because I was standing there with the Danish number plates. He was like, we are not going to like make it short or something. I was like, yeah, I understand, but I just wanted this like plastic box for that. And he went somewhere, he got these two plastic fittings out. And then afterwards I asked, wie viel? And he said, ja, Geschenk von mir. And that is ridiculous. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, like you could think about like, this could be a nice marketing strategy for him and so on. So like I can come to him back because I've had such a positive experience. But this person, I've never paid any money. I'm not his customer. He's seeing me for the first time. And he just like hands me out this thing. And I was like, I actually had a very nice feeling about this, because okay, like it was not free for him either. Like if you think about the wholesale price, so like it would have costed at least like, 5-10 euros for him. But like still just thinking like, that take this thing, like, don't worry about it. Like this is ridiculous behavior, which I do not know from Germany, which I do not know from Romania. I still think my experience in Germany has been much more positive. Like it has been closer to Denmark than it has been to Romania. But like Romania for me is like, has been on the completely different end. So that's what I find interesting. Like maybe in the future, like for sure, like I would think about like moving to Denmark, because I think there's only a specific stage till which you can like handle all of these things. The unfriendliness, sometimes like the scammy behavior that I come across from different kind of people. The only positive thing here is that I have met some good accountants. So like my accountant and my lawyer, like these two are good people. So I've been able to like handle things on their behalf in different kind of situations. So that has saved my ass massively. And this is also something that I could recommend. Like if you are thinking about moving to Romania, I think it's very important to find a good lawyer or a tax consultant. If you want to get in contact with the ones that I have, you will find the link to the website, where I also help people to establish their companies in Romania. So you can also get in touch with them. The number 5 thing that I wanted to share with you was to listen to people and then ask questions. I think it's very important that you also sit down and listen to what people have to say instead of just like constantly speaking. And unfortunately, I don't get this opportunity frequently. What the opportunity I get is when I'm sitting in some kind of team meeting and I'm asking people, hey, guys, speak up, like, give me your ideas, what do you think about these things? That's where I generally have this opportunity of listening to people's opinion. Also, when I'm trying to work on a new project and I'm not understanding like whom to speak to and so on, because most of the people don't even have the option of like booking their calendar or like booking a time slot from their calendar and so on. Because, for example, recently I've been super interested in like having a wind turbine, but having a wind turbine in Denmark costs around 72,000 euros if you get the proper big ones. But if you like assemble your own wind turbine, it's of course much cheaper. I think like with that, instead of 72,000 euros, I should get by with somewhat like 5,000 euros, maximum 8,000 euros. So like I was seeing in those directions, and there's one guy from Sweden who has been doing a lot of things with wind turbines, but unfortunately you cannot book a calendar. So I think like if you get opportunities like that, it's very important to like just take that and speak to people if you have any kind of ideas, and then listen to them, right? So these were a few things I wanted to share with you. I hope this helped. In the next video, I will go into more details about the real estate portfolio and how does that look like and what had been my ideas in investing there. So this was pretty much it for this video. I will see you in the next one.